Hello everyone, welcome to All About Paris. Today we're going to see the 7th Arrondissement, which is a very beautiful and fancy part of this town. Today we are at the metro station of Sevres-babylone, and now you're seeing one of the most luxurious hotels in the city, which is the Lutetia Hotel. So come with me and let's discover this wonderful area of Paris. As you can see, we are getting closer and closer to the summertime. Today is a very beautiful day, since it rains very often. Yesterday was raining a lot. It's around 19 hours, 1909. We have 19 degrees also. So it's relatively warm for the temperature we usually have. Being 19 hours, it's almost the end of the rush hour. So people are getting to their houses after a long day at work. The 7th Arrondissement is actually the most Parisian experience that you can have according to international media. And when I say according to international media, I mean all those things that you see in the pictures, in the videos, in the travel blogs, because this arrondissement has everything that you usually see on TV. As I mentioned before, we are at the metro station of Sevres-babylone. And this station has several entries, and one of them goes directly to Rue Velpeau, and that's where you find one of the most interesting, luxurious and famous stores of Paris, which is Le Bon Marché. There you see it. So actually Le Bon Marché, it's a store that was created a long time ago, and the idea that you have of a department store was developed in this kind of establishments. It is not as big as malls nowadays, but to be honest, this is where you find the quintessential Parisian style of clothes, of decorations, of shoes. And they have, as the other large stores in the city, those very large vitrines, which are basically, those big glass windows. It basically takes the whole block. As you can see, there's a lot of construction going on now in the city. Even like 2 months before the Olympic Games. So let's see how it goes. Right next door to Le Bon Marché, you have La Grande Épicerie de Paris, which is a large supermarket. I think that would be the best way to describe it. And it's a very, very fancy supermarket, but also it's a very good one to find those products, those French products that you cannot find easily, or that you're looking for a particular quality. Also, you can find a lot of products that are from other countries, but you know that they're gonna be relatively expensive. But they tend to be very nice, like coffees and sauces and other kind of products. You will find it in La Grande Épicerie. I really enjoy going there. So in this arrondissement, the 7th, you not only find the wonderful shopping experience, but you also find a lot of museums like Musée Rodin. You also find Musée d'Orsay, which is one of the most famous in the city. You find a lot of political establishments, like for example Hôtel Matignon, which is where the Prime Minister lives. You have many embassies also in this area, and it's particularly an arrondissement where wealthy Americans moved in the past, so there's a relatively big community in this area of Americans. So again, we see the same picture that you saw in my video of the last arrondissement that I did, which was the 3rd. So as I said, around the city you usually find these interesting artworks. So right there you see this very big building, and it's actually one of those big luxury brands. I'll show you which one. So the 7th arrondissement has a big history of commerce, and then in this area you find the headquarters for some of the big luxury brands of France. So this one is actually the business building for Kering. I don't want to directly make a video because there's a guard there, but in this building you find Kering, which is the second largest luxury group in France, and they have brands like Balenciaga, for example, and you can see that part of that history of luxury brands are in this area because people that actually buy those brands or that in the past bought those brands live around here. So Kering have Gucci, Yves Saint Laurent, they have, as I said, Balenciaga, between others, and that's where you find the headquarters in Paris. As I just mentioned, the 7th arrondissement has a lot of political institutions and embassies. So a lot of people that work in those institutions also live here. And some people call this arrondissement the power arrondissement because most of the political power is centered in this area. I really like this one over here. It's just like in the middle of nowhere, next to the station, but it's quite cool. As you see, construction keeps going and going, but I had to show you this street anyways because it's for me very interesting and I think you should know about it. So now we're actually crossing Rue Vanneau. You can see that there's these very traditional areas, and because of this construction there's kind of a bouchon, which is a traffic jam of people since it's the rush hour. So this is Rue de Sèvres, and it has the same name. Well, the station has the same name of this street. So I will take a ride here in Pierre-les-Roues, because I see that it's going to be a little bit difficult to transit through there. Oh, look at those. They look nice, don't they? So as any city, at rush hour, as I said, people going back to their homes, then you can see a lot of movements of vehicle and people. This neighborhood as the third, which is the last video that I made, it's also a very good area for shopping and for staying. If you're visiting, finding a hotel here, it doesn't obviously have to be the Lutetia Hotel, but it's a very centered area. So if you want to visit other things around Paris quickly, that would be this would be a good option, particularly because you have line 10 and you have also line 12 that goes through Sevres-babylone. In this neighborhood you find, in this district, there are 4 neighborhoods, and you find the American Church, which is considered like the embassy of heaven, at least that's the name in that they have on one of the walls. And you also find the American Library, for which you can basically pay like a fee, and when you pay that fee, then you can go and access, and I think like all the books are in English, or at least most of them are in English. And the idea behind is that you can access those books, because I have to say that in all libraries here you find English books, but they're not necessarily things that answer to everybody's tastes in books. So that's an option also if you find yourself needing to access books. The American Library for a fee can fix that problem for you. So now we're going through the street, which is Rue Oudinot. Very quiet areas. When you get out of the main axis, I have to say that I don't have like any planned route. I have an idea of the things that I want to show you, and in these neighborhoods I have to be careful because there's a lot of government institutions, and there's a lot of security in some streets, so it's not as easy as in other parts of the city to make a video, because sometimes, for security it's not possible to make videos of private or public institutions. So right there, if you see at the end, there's Tour Montparnasse, which is the highest building in the center of Paris. And that's another story that I have to tell you, because all of Paris was supposed to be full of high rises. There was a time in which high rises were associated with the modern life and economic progress and power of finance, etc. So at some point it was imagined that all these beautiful buildings in Paris could be turned down, and then that most of the Paris area in the center would become full of buildings as Tour Montparnasse. What is fun is that when they did it, people saw that it was a terrible, ugly building in comparison to the beautiful architecture around. And then people said, stop, and they didn't build any other building like that in the city center. So when you come to Paris, you can see that the high rises are basically around the edges of the city, or in other cities, like for example the finance district, business district, which is La Défense. So now you see that we're getting out of our quiet street, and we're getting to a more lively route. And it's a pattern that you can see in different neighborhoods in the city. So I will turn right here. And now I'm going to walk in Boulevard des Invalides. And Boulevard des Invalides, because in this area you have Les Invalides. I don't know how to say a specific translation, but it's a very beautiful building that was created as a hospital for people that were handicapped after the wars. They were soldiers, basically. So this building we will see, hopefully, and I can start seeing it from here, because the beautiful dome, it's unmistakably amazing. If you decide to come and live in this area, you have to know that it's very different to the other districts, because actually this arrondissement doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't have like a lot of stores to everyday needs, like supermarkets, fruit stores. You have a lot of stores of clothes and luxury, but not necessarily of things that you use like every day. And one particular scene also of this area is that you have like large spaces, like empty spaces. Look at how huge this street is. It wouldn't be necessarily a street that you find in other arrondissements. So it's something very particular. Right now you're seeing Saint François Xavier Church. So it's really a beautiful one, but I have to say it's just like another church of the, I would say, hundreds of churches that you find in this city. This is also the arrondissement where you find the famous Eiffel Tower. This is where you have Champ de Mars, and it's actually in the border between the 15th arrondissement, for which I did a video also, and then the Seine. You might think it's horrible, it's full of construction, it's all full of debris, but it's not the case. It's just because right now there's a lot of things going on with construction. So I will cross right here to show you a more beautiful part of the city if I don't get run over. There is this beautiful square here, and then we have this street full of trees. There are a lot of flower stores in Paris, but they're always very expensive. When I see the prices in other cities that I have visited, I don't know really why they are so expensive, but since I guess most of them probably come from the Netherlands, and the Netherlands is only like 3 hours from here in a train, so I don't understand. But well, that's just me complaining because I really like flowers a lot. This is one of the schools here. It's called Lycée Victor Duruy, I think is the name. It's very famous too, and you find other schools that are considered very good schools also in the area. One of the things that I like a lot of Parisian buildings are how impressive the doors are, and the colors. They're really very bold with the colors. You find green, you find blue. I think I've seen yellow too. Red is very common. So for some reason, particularly in the Osmanian architecture, there's a tendency to be very bold with the doors. So there you go. We're getting closer. This is a part of the Sèvres that is really empty because there are a lot of institutions around. But we're getting closer to our objective today. I really think that to navigate this area really takes some walking because there are not a lot of metro stations around, and as I said, most of this area originally was made for military institutions. As this one, there you can see the dome already of Invalides, which is covered in gold. Like it's quite fancy. So we're walking right now there to our right, École Militaire, which is the military school that historically has been right next to the hospital for handicapped soldiers, and it's also next to Champ de Mars. And Champ de Mars, which is like from the Greek god of the war, Mars in Roman, and in Greek is Ares. So you had Champ de Mars right next to the Eiffel Tower, and those spaces is where soldiers used to make their practice for war. Look at how beautiful it is. And one of the things that you can see why it's so fancy is because you have very large avenues, and the views of those fantastic apartments over there must be incredible, because you have not only the beautiful Invalides, but you also have the Eiffel Tower. So this is one of the main attractions of Paris, which is actually Invalides, as I mentioned before. Hopefully a golden dome, and this is where you find the body of Napoleon Bonaparte. So if you want to learn more about Napoleon, that's where you find his grave. It's incredibly majestic. It's gigantic. It's like a lot, but it's very beautiful. And you also find the military museums, so you can learn a lot about those beautiful clothes and weapons used in past centuries. And you can also come and just chill out around here. I used to live nearby, so I used to walk all that boulevard up to here at night, because you can see the beautiful lights in the dome. That's something I used to do a lot in summertime, because in the other side of the Invalides you have very green grass, which is not very common in Paris, so people use it, young people particularly use it in summertime to do picnics. So in this arrondissement, you have the fancy stores, you have the political institutions, you have the museums, like Musée Rodin, which is one of the most beautiful museums, not only because of the sculptures of Rodin, but also because of the house where it is, that it used to be his house, if I'm not wrong. And you also have the Eiffel Tower. It is really the quintessential Parisian experience to come to this arrondissement. So there you see, it has a beautiful French garden, so you can see there, and then the beautiful Hotel de Invalides, the Invalides. So today we're not gonna see the Eiffel Tower. I wanna show you that from Trocadero. But I'm really very glad that we finally found a beautiful day to see this arrondissement. And I want to tell you that if you have the chance to stay, don't think twice about it, because it's totally worth it. So thank you very much for coming with me, and until next time.